This is Regin's Travels podcast. Alright, welcome to another episode of Regin's Travels podcast. This is Regin Reyno. Makakasama natin ngayon si Siasat, isang boxing analyst, sports journalist, professional boxing trainer, one championship athlete rankings panelist, at isang former amateur boxer. And just a few years ago, he was the most traveled combat sports reporter from the Philippines. Hello JM, welcome to the podcast.
Hey bro, thanks for having me. Grabe naman yung intro mo, ang haba nun ha.
Kumusta ka?
Good bro, thanks for having me here. What's up?
Thank you din sa pag-accept ng invitation. Alam kong busy ka pero tinanggap mo pa din.
Of course bro.
Nakita ko yung mga yung mga ini-interview mo. Ang dami mong ini-interview mga boxers lately, yung mga boxing experts, mga analyst tungkol sa mga nagaganap ngayon na mga laban. Syempre unang-una yung laban ni Pacquiao at ni Ugas. Bilang boxing analyst, ang dami mo ng dito, ang dami mo ng mga in-interview ka dito at nagbigay ka ng mga opinion mo. Pero matanong lang kita, anong masasabi mo sa laban na yun? Gusto kong marinig sa isang boxing analyst.
Nakakatawa dito bro, us in the media, umiikot lang din naman sa amin yung source. So sometimes, since I've already started the podcast, I do interviews. Pero mostly talaga, before I started my own channel, ako talaga yung resource person sa GMA. So kapag lumalaban si Manny Pacquiao, tawagan nila sa akin, ako yung taong bahay. Kasi naiiwan ako dito because they need me for the pre-fights, post-fights analysis. So, ayun. But, yeah, to answer your question is just to summarize what happened in that Manny Pacquiao versus Rigondeaux Ugas fight. Now, I just really think that at 42 years old, Manny Pacquiao has finally showed his age. His father time has caught up to him. Lagi ko sinasabi, if you've watched my previous takes, na ang Manny Pacquiao makikita mo before na nag-i-slow down, titignan mo yung punch output niya, titignan mo yung speed niya, nag-dwindle na, nag-diminish na. So, even at 42 years old, hindi natin matatanggi na si Manny Pacquiao, mabits pa rin So, the speed's still there, but is he as fast? No, he's not. Power is always the last one to go. Nakita natin yun to the likes of George Foreman. Yeah, I mean, the power is always the last one to go. No, nakita natin to the likes of George Foreman. It really is the last one to go. So si Manny Pacquiao may power pa rin naman pero ang problema doon, his legs gave up on him. Now, as a boxer, you actually need your legs or calves to sit down on your punches. So makita mo throughout the fight, hindi na bother even once yung Rigondeaux Ugas sa punches ni Manny Pacquiao.
Hindi talaga.
Hindi siya naalog, like nothing.
Hindi nga siya umatras .
Yeah, because Manny Pacquiao wasn't able to sit on his punches. And another thing na nag-manifest yung age niya. So sinasabi ko kanina, di ba, I always say it's the punch output, stamina. Okay, well, napagod naman si Manny sa laban na yun. Pero titignan mo yung punch output niya. Lumabas, he threw some 800 punches in that fight. But, isang nag-manifest dun sa age niya is yung reflexes, bro. Kung makita mo kung paano siya ginab-jab ni Ugas doon, starting round 2 until the end of the fight, ganun na lang. Ngayon yung mga klase ng suntok na hindi mo naman supposedly matatamaan si Manny Pacquiao . Because in his younger years, he would have avoided those punches with ease. Now, sasabihin, sige, walang legs. Okay, andun na tayo. But, as a practitioner, I also know na there are many ways to avoid the jab. You can simply move your head, you can block it with your gloves, you can move your torso. Marami. Okay, so kahit na wala yung legs mo, upper body movement, lahat yun magagamit mo to avoid and block the jab. Pero makita mo, double jab nung Ugas si Manny. Kasi nga, in my opinion, at 42 years old, isa yan sa mga unang nawawala din sa aging athlete, sa aging fighters, yung reflexes. So ayun, nag-reflect yun, nag-manifest yung loss of reflexes ni Manny dun sa kanyang fight. And ayun, natalo siya. He lost that fight against Rigondeaux Ugas.
Pero parang grabe yung niya, anong term doon? Parang grabe yung parang pagbaba niya in terms sa performance. Kasi 2 years ago lang yung kay Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
makita mo ang laki ng diferensya ng nagawa niya. Although, sinabi niya nga na nagkaroon siya ng cramping, pero even round 1, hindi naman siguro round 1, nag-cramps na siya agad. Round 1, hindi na siya flat-footed na agad siya, even during round 1 pa lang.
Well, sabi ng Team Pacquiao, it was round 2 or round 3. But then again, that's the thing about father time eh. Alam mo sa boxing bro, you never know when you're gonna look old in a fight. Okay? Isang maganda example dito, the likes of Wilfred Benitez, former champion, fought the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard, fought the likes of Roberto Duran. He became champion at a young age and nung 30s niya, aba, kupas na kupas na. So kasi naman kung tutuusin brother, sa sa boxing matanda naman na may 30s eh. Lalo na yung Ugas 35, that's not a young fighter for
Mm.
a boxer ah. So kaya nga sinasabi na before the fight, what if Manny Pacquiao shows his age? Eh ang sabi ko naman din doon, mali ako ng prediction eh, no, and I have no problem admitting that. Sabi ko rin naman doon, Ugas is not a young fighter either. So what if Ugas showed his age, he's 35. But things happen, and that's what we have, and we have to live with the results. And that was a fair win naman by your Dennis Ugas.
Oo nga eh. Tapos isipin mo, 42 na si Manny, tapos tulad nga na nabanggit mo, 35, matanda na talaga yun. Kasi naalala ko, si Jerry Peñalosa noon, di ba nag-comeback siya sa career niya eh, kasi parang
Mm-hmm.
nag-semi-retire siya noon, nag-comeback siya,
Mm-hmm.
35 na siya noon. Tapos kino-consider natin siyang matanda noon, si Jerry, na parang,
Yeah,
oy, ano na kasi si Jerry, matanda na, kaya medyo, nagkakaroon na ng, siguro
yeah,
bumabagal. Pero kung isipin mo, si Pacquiao, 42 na. So
yeah.
talagang parang ano yun eh, parang andun na yung matanda na siya kaya siya natalo. Kaya parang for me and for the rest of the fans as well, parang hindi yun naka-apekto sa legacy, sa pagiging legend niya, sa accomplish niya sa boxing.
Yeah, ang legacy naman ni Manny Pacquiao, made na yan eh. Okay, so
Oo.
regardless of what happens here, sabi nga eh, nobody's gonna remember your Dennis Ugas after this. Manny Pacquiao, he's even past being a Hall of Famer. Okay, he is an all-time great. Kasi may mga Hall of Famer na hindi mo naman masabing all-time great when it comes to
Mm-mm.
that didn't make it to that list. But Manny Pacquiao here is an all-time great. So, like I said, made na ang legacy nitong tao, and regardless of what happened this past weekend, wala nang wala nang kumbaga magiging den pa sa legacy. Even, you know what, honestly, even if he won that fight I feel like it would do very little sa kanyang legacy because one, sasabihin ng mga tao, sino ba your Dennis Ugas,
Tama.
kung tutuusin, hindi nga na yan world champion because he was just given
Vacant lang yung title nun.
actually, it was not vacant, but it was an interim title. So,
Interim,
he was promoted to the super
promoted.
champion. Yeah. So, he was gifted the belt. So, kung tutusin, ito yung talagang masasabi na, okay, world champion siya because that's the title they took from Manny. But the thing what could have this fight done sa legacy ni Manny Pacquiao, not the fighter, but the fact that if he retired after this, he retired as a world champion and around his waist.
Oo, yun
you know
sana.
and
Yun
and
sana.
he would have beaten his own record na oldest welterweight in history, but like I said, it is what it is. So yeah.
Tsaka ako napansin mo yung muscle ni Pacquiao talagang hindi na ganun ka-shredded. Nabanggit nga rin ng commentator yun eh nung sa TV. Napansin ko din na parang talagang makita mo hindi na yung talagang bato-batong Manny Pacquiao before. 'Di ba?
Yeah,
Napansin mo ba 'yun?
he's an aging warrior, man. I mean, muscles could deteriorate as you age, but it could have something to do with age as well, or I'm sorry, not age, with his training camp. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, maganda naman yung naging performance ni Manny Pacquiao, especially for a 42-year-old fighter, no? We,
Totoo.
ha- we we have to always, consider, we have to always look at the tangibles. Unang-una, si Manny Pacquiao, he is not even 147, natural 147-pound fighter. So, kaya nga ako, sinasabi ko, if he wants to continue fighting on, maybe he could go down to the 140 division and patalunin
Lightweight.
pa rin yung mga, light welterweight. Lightweight is 135. So, light
Mm.
welterweight, 140 pounds. So, marami pa siyang sasagasaan doon. The thing is, he is at the 147 kasi andun yung money fights eh. Andun
Oo.
yung big fights. Okay, so, there's not much going on sa 140 pounds and wala doon yung mga stars. So, he's competing there. But, throughout these years, he's never been naman na yung talagang full-blown welterweight.
sa 8 division title ni Manny Pacquiao, isa doon yung featherweight. Nagtataka lang ako kasi naalala ko, ang linilista nilang featherweight title ay yung against Barrera. Pero based sa naalala ko lang ha, walang title si Barrera noon. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kasi ang alam kong may title noon si Juan Manuel Marquez, which is draw yung nangyari. Pero kino-consider siyang champion sa featherweight. I-explain mo nga paano siya naging champion sa featherweight division.
It was the ring title.
Ring magazine. Oo.
Ring
Hindi
magazine.
yung four sanctioning body. Tama.
Yeah, which is better. You know why? Because when you have the ring title, pare, it means you are the lineal champion. So ganito, meron tayong 4 major sanctioning bodies. Yung 4 major sanctioning bodies na yan, okay, may kanya-kanyang top 10.
Oo.
Okay? So isipin mo sa isang division, sa ang sport ka nakakita sa isang division, 4 ang champion, only in boxing. Tapos may mga interim pa, may silver pa, may region, kung ano-ano, because I always say boxing is more for business than a sport, okay?
Totoo.
So when you look at the ring, the ring is the Bible of boxing kung sabihin nila. So the ring gathers all those fighters, lahat sa major sanctioning bodies na or maybe wala pa doon, wala sa kanilang top 10. The thing is, they put all the top 10 fighters in one division. Wala kaming pakialam dyan sa major sanctioning bodies na yan. And whoever is the real champion, sino pinakamagaling doon, gets to fight for the lineal title. Okay? So that to me is better. So yeah, you don't hold a belt sa major sanctioning body, but you're the lineal champion. So what's better? Diba?
Okay.
Kasi ang dami naman dyan, paper champ lang eh. Ito na lang, example na lang, si Dennis Ugas, he was gifted a belt. So he was a paper champ until he defeated Manny Pacquiao.
Okay. Yun, malinaw na. Pero nung time na yun, si Barrera ba may hawak ng Ring Magazine belt? O talagang siya may hawak nun?
Yeah. As far as, if memory serves me right, si Barrera yun.
Okay, yun. So punta naman tayo sa kabilang division. Kasi nabanggit mo nga kanina si Manny, 42 na tumatanda. Tapos si Rigondeaux, napakagaling na boxer. In fact, sabi nga ni Freddie Roach, isa siya sa pinakamagaling na, let's say, technical boxer na nakita niya. At hindi mo madidinay, Olympian siya, amateur, magaling talaga. Pero nung kinalaban niya si Casimero, talagang natakot siya, as in tumakbo siya ng husto. Tapos napanood ko yung interview mo with Casimero, sabi ni Casimero, nakakahiya ka naman Donaire kasi yung tumalo sa'yo, tumakbo lang sa akin. Pero for me, nung kinalaban si Donaire, iba yung edad niya. That was like 10 years ago. 2013. 2013.
Yeah, 8 years.
8 years. Oo. So, for me, parang ibang Rigondeaux yung nakalaban ni Donaire. Opinion ko lang, ibang Rigondeaux yung nakalaban ni Donaire sa nakalaban ni Casimero ngayon, which is, kasi kung tutusin mo yung laban ni Lomachenko sa ni Rigondeaux, hindi naman talaga tumakbo si Rigondeaux. Saka yung mga previous laban niya, tactician siya, counterpuncher siya, pero hindi naman talaga siya tumatakbo na tulad ng ginawa niya kay Casimero. Kay Lomachenko, lumalaban siya. Actually, round 1, lumaban siya kay Casimero, round 1. Kung mapapansin mo, hindi naman talaga siya tumakbo. Pero natikman niya yung suntok, doon na siya tumakbo. So, talagang we have to give it to Casimero din na talagang naramdaman yung lakas niya. Pero yung sinabi niya na nahihiya daw, nakakaya ka doon kasi yung tumalo sa iyo hindi mahina naman pala. For me, masasabi ko doon, ibang Rigondeaux yun. Mas batang Rigondeaux kaysa sa 40-year-old na Rigondeaux.
Okay. So I guess what's the question?
Anong mo doon? Anong take mo doon sa mga statements na binitawan? Kasi very controversial din, like knowing Casimero, no?
Yeah.
So, tapos yung reaction mo nun, syempre neutral ka lang. Kita ko naman yung reaction mo. Hindi ka naman parang, pero anong reaction mo ngayon?
It was an explosive interview with John Riel Casimero sa mga hindi pa nakapanood. No?
Parang gutom ata siya nun eh. Kumain ba siya nun? Init ang ulo niya eh.
That's John Riel, and alam mo kasi yan si John Riel, he's, good guy naman yan eh. Talagang on-cam persona na eh. Kaya kita mo yung pagdating sa dulo, parang curtains daw na, biglang salamat po, biglang gano'n, di ba? Kasi, di ba, John Riel knows how to sell a fight, he knows how to market himself. But, anyway, tama ka naman sa sinabi mo, when they fought in 2013, Donaire and Rigondeaux, they were both in their primes. 2012, Nonito Donaire was the fighter of the year, no? And he was derailed after that by Guillermo Rigondeaux. Alam naman nila na hindi na the same fighter si Rigondeaux, pero at the same time, alam naman nila na ang laro ni Rigondeaux, iikot-ikot talaga sa ring. He would try to box and counter. Now, paano nag-manifest naman yung age ni Rigondeaux dito? Kasi makikita mo, andun pa rin yung depensa. May hand speed pa rin naman.
Andulas
Yung
talaga.
reflexes, andulas. Andun pa rin yung reflexes. I think it would have something to do with his punch output. Kasi ang daming instances dun sa laban ni Casimero na open, may angle, hindi mo ibitaw. Maybe because he feels that if he keeps throwing, then he's not going to make it. Yung gas tank niya, ha? Maybe, and again,
Okay, tama.
I can only assume this, all right? But only Rigondeaux can tell for sure.
Yeah.
But maybe he feels like if he keeps throwing, his gas tank will not make it up to the final bell until round 12. So that is a possibility. So kasi isipin mo, bro, takbo, ikot ka ng ikot eh. Diba? So that takes a lot of your stamina. Kung susuntok pa na susuntok, that takes a lot.
Mas nakakapagod yung suntok.
Mas nakakapagod yun, bro. Ako, practitioner ako. I know this for a fact. So nakakapagod yan. It's a lot harder than, what people think. Now, thing about this is, personally ako, hindi ko talaga ginagamit yung salitang takbo sa boxing eh. Even to the likes of Floyd Mayweather, you don't see me throw that word around na takbuhin si Mayweather, Sugar Ray Leonard, takbuhin, Nicolone Loche, takbuhin,
Muhammad Ali,
takbuhin, Muhammad Ali, Pernell Whitaker, di ko ginagamit yan. But this time, I'm giving an exemption kay Rigondeaux kasi
totoo. Talagang literal yung takbong ginagawa.
Literal, hindi sumusuntok eh.
Never.
Yeah.
Ultimo counter, matipid siya.
Yeah. Hindi siya sumusuntok sa laban na yun. So, it was just literally just plain running by Guillermo Rigondeaux, which was embarrassing, no? Kasi
very embarrassing.
Sweet science naman talaga is skill set. Titingnan mo, just like any other sport, titingnan mo sa boxing is yung skill set. And when it comes to skills, andun yung skills ng Rigondeaux. Alright? Boxing is called sweet science for a reason. Okay? There's nothing sweet getting your head bashed in by a right straight, and there's no science blocking punches with your face, with your head, no? So there's sweet science for a reason. And they say, to hit and not get hit. Ang ginawa ng Rigondeaux, to not get hit lang. Hindi niya nakuha yung full memo. Ang nakuha niya lang yung to not get hit. Hindi niya nakalimutan niya to hit. So kawawa yung I mean, yung judges, it was so hard to, it was a nightmare fight to judge, to be honest. Kasi kung titignan mo yung ang professional judging, may objectives yan eh. Clean punches landed, effective aggression, ring generalship, and defense. So sa apat na yun in that hierarchy. So it was such a nightmare to score kasi both fighters were inefficient in some ways. But ako, personally, I scored the fight for General Casimero 115-113 based on aggression alone. Dun lang. I can't even say that it's effective aggression kasi nakita naman natin habol ng habol si General.
Tsaka puro hangin. Maraming hangin ang tinatamaan.
Yeah, madami. Puro marami siyang binitaw na suntok na hindi naman tumatama. So I scored it for General Casimero based on aggression alone, and I had it 115-113. But it was a tough fight to score. It was a nightmare, no?
Tapos yung division na to, very exciting talaga. Kasi nga ito na yung tatlo na magi-unify. Gusto magi-unify. So, ang nakikita ko ditong magandang laban talaga, kasi si Donaire magaling pa naman, hindi mo makakailing-galing niya, pero andun na yung tumatandang issue natin, di ba? Kasi nagkamali na tayo before kay Pacquiao na, kaya pa yan, nakita ko sa training, ganyan. Yung edad, wala yung edad, is just a number. Pero dahil nakita nga natin kay Pacquiao yan, pwede nating i-consider yan kay Donaire din ngayon, although 38 pa lang siya, pero a few more years, baka bigla to, Pacquiao bigla ang bumaba. So, pag-usapan natin si Nooyan Inoue tsaka si Casimero. Of course, as a Filipino, gusto nating manalo si Casimero. Pero personally, nakikita ko na talagang magaling talaga yung Hapon.
Yeah.
So, anong masasabi mo dito? Pero si Casimero, very confident eh. Pero ako dati talaga, nakita ko na llamado yung Hapon ng medyo malayo-layo. Non-bias, ko lang to observation based on the fights. Pero nakita ko yung latest laban ni Casimero. Grabe pala yung power niya. So, yun yung nakita kong advantage niya. Pero sa lahat, like sa bilis, sa skill, parang, for me, in my opinion, parang tihado si Casimero.
Yeah. I mean, look, Naoya Inoue is the lineal champion of the 118-pound division for a reason. Itong Naoya Inoue na to, sinubaybayan ko karir nito, way back. And the way I describe this guy is Parang hindi tao eh, parang computer. The way he throws his punches, his speed, his power, it's
Grabe.
just unreal. Grabe. Grabe tong
Grabe.
ano na to.
Grabe talaga.
And in just, such a short span of time, he's now a multiple champion in multiple weight classes. So ibang level yung Naoya Inoue. Kung paano yung lakas at speed nito, I would say yeah, I would agree na, and skill set maybe he's ahead kay John Riel Casimero, especially sa technique and counter punching. Kasi unang-una yung John Riel Casimero, we can't say that he has a jab, which is going to be very important if you are going to compete against elite level competition na gaya nila Naoya Inoue. So now, definitely I would favor Naoya Inoue to win that fight. John
Oo.
Riel Casimero, cannot sleep. General Casimero is going to be an underdog heading into that fight.
Right.
Sabihin natin may power si Janriel. Guys, you have to remember that Naoya Inoue took the best punches of
Nonito.
Yeah.
Yung left hook niya yun. Tinanggap niya yun.
Ilang beses na tinanggap yun.
Oo.
Na if any other lesser fighters, gumulong-gulong na. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, he has the speed, he has the technique, he has the power, he can take punishment. Mahirap. This is going to be an uphill battle for General Casimero, I believe. And yeah, he's going to be an underdog if the fight, pushes through. But mas gusto ko na yung laban na yun, bro. I would rather want to see, I'd rather see General Casimero and Naoya Inoue go at it than, see a rematch between Naoya Inoue and Nonito Donaire. Why? Kasi alam ko, honestly, kahit naman mag-rematch sila, I don't see Donaire beating. Yeah.
Ganun
I don't see Donaire beating Naoya Inoue. So why go that route again?
Right.
So it's either Casimero Donaire or Casimero Inoue.
Anong feeling mo as a boxing fan sa dalawang Filipino na maglalaban sa international stage?
Oh, it's good. It's good for boxing. A lot of people are saying na
ayaw nila, di ba? Oo, ayaw nila.
But you have to actually look at the bigger picture kasi it means that we're heading towards the right direction. Nangyari po ito kasi we have some of the best fighters in the division. That's the reason why it happened. And kung titingnan naman natin throughout the history of boxing, wala namang problema American versus American, Mexican versus Mexican, European versus European. They fight they fight each other all the time. Sila naglalaban. Then why is it an issue when it's going to be a Filipino versus Filipino? Alam mo yun, yung nationalism din kasi.
Nationalism natin talaga. Oo, iba din minsan. Naalala ko ang laban ni Barrera at saka ni Marquez 2007, di ba? Ang ganda nun.
Barrera fought Morales 3 times.
Morales, yeah.
Yeah, so, that's the thing. Look, boxing is a sport and more so it's a business, okay? Ngayon, kung sabihin ko ba sa inyo, kami ni Regine, bigyan mo kami tig $1 million, di ba kami maglalaban ito? Ano po yan livelihood po nila yan It's their livelihood, okay? Hindi naman tayo kakainin, hindi naman natin mapapakain yung Pinoy pride natin sa ating mga anak. It is their livelihood and it is what they have to do. Other than that, again, it means that we are heading to the right direction. Isipin mo dalawang Pilipino maglalaban. Ang sabi ko nga, ang takeaway na lang po natin dito is yung at the end of the day, at the end of the night, pag matapos na ilaban, Pilipino pa rin naman po yung world champion.
Oo. Tama. Pero sa'yo, bro, personally, Donaire o Casimero ang mas llamado?
I would slightly favor Nonito Donaire based on technique alone. The thing is with General Casimero, he likes to load his punches, And the way he throws his right is very open for the taking. And when you have Nonito Donaire who can move around, who can take punishment, mind you, na kayang matindi ang panga ni Donaire, and he can actually sneak punches, between combinations that is going to be very hard for Casimero to win. Kasi alam naman natin si Casimero ang gagawin niyan, he's going to move forward against Donaire. And all Donaire has to do is wait. Ma-open si General, and how General is gonna take that counter left hook and uppercuts, straight right hand ni Donaire will go ahead and see. But not too many fighters can take that.
Tsaka mahilig si Casimero sa sa overhand ba ang tawag doon? Yung ganun, yung ginagawa ni Ugas kay Pacquiao. Overhand. Yeah. Mahilig siya sa ganun Tapos in-interview yung papa ni Donaire, si Nonito Sr. Tungkol sa laban against Rigondeaux. Yun yung sinabi ni Nonito Sr. na kailangan si Casimero hindi lang puro overhand na kasi napansin niya si Casimero pa isa-isa sumuntok, hindi kombinasyon.
Yan ba yung
Isa-isa.
interview ko sa kanya?
Ikaw ba yun? Hindi ka na maalala mo
Yeah.
sa, yung parang sabi nila
Yeah,
dito,
yes.
dapat hindi siya mahilig siya mag-overhand ng overhand. Ikaw pala yun, ano?
Yeah, sinabi ni ano na he has to set up his punches.
Right.
Wag
Not just overhand
bara-bara.
o wag
Yeah, not
bara-bara.
just yeah.
Ultimo tatay na ni Nonito ang nagsabi nun. So, for sure, aral na ng company, Donaire yung galaw niya. Di ba?
Yeah, but the thing is, Donito Donaire Senior is not in, Donaire Junior's camp now.
Yun nga eh.
So,
yung internal issue nila, no?
yeah, I don't know why, to be honest with you. I don't know why.
Parang matagal na yung issue na yun. Hindi
I don't
alam
think may
talaga.
issue sila, but I don't know why he's not part of the I don't know why he's not part of the
Team.
Donaire camp. Yeah.
Pero may haka-haka yung mga fans eh. Pero syempre, hindi na natin papanggitin dito.
Yeah, the fans can think whatever they want to think. They can say whatever they want to say. That's why they're fans.
Right.
That's why they're fans. Wini-welcome natin yan because without the fans, hindi kompleto ang ecosystem ng not just boxing, fight sports and just
Tama.
just like any other sports. Kaya kita mo bro, makita mo yung channel ko kung mag-comment na lang dun. Sometimes mura-murahin lang ako dun. Hinayaan ko lang.
Wala ka daw alam eh. Yung isang comment.
Yeah,
screenshot mo.
Yeah. Hinahayaan ko lang, because, that's why they are fans. And fans will say whatever they want to say. And we welcome that. Lalo na kami sa media. We always welcome, comments. Unless na sobrang distasteful na lang, minumura ka na lang, Sometimes you have to filter that out. But yung criticisms, sabihin, wala kang alam, kalbo ka, ganyan ka, or what.
Kailangan yun.
Honestly, ako natatawa lang ako. Again, that's the reason why they're fans.
Totoo. Maganda yung take mo doon. Tsaka kailangan yun, and sa interaction, tsaka kailangan yun ng YouTube algorithm, yung mga yun.
Engagement.
Engagement. Tsaka bro, nabansagan kang most traveled combat sports reporter before. Paano ito nangyari? Saan ka nagpunta nito? Anong mga pinagkagawa mo dito? Biro mo, most traveled ka sa Philippines, na Pinoy.
I think that sa combat sports, I won't say na I got some title of some sort naman. No? Kasi dito, brother, sa Pilipinas, so sabi na nga natin kanina, taong bahay ako. Diba kapag Manny Pacquiao fight, mga big fights ng mga Filipino kasi I always end up doing the pre and post fight analysis. So, karamihan sa ating mga reporters, mga writers, they just get to travel or they get to fly out of the country if Manny Pacquiao is fighting. Alright, sometimes si Donaire, yan, they would cover him.
Yung mga big names lang talaga.
Yeah, big names. That's the time they actually go out of the country and cover. Ilang beses na naman mo yung nalaban, guys, sa isang taon. Si Manny Pacquiao, 2. 'Di ba? So that's twice in a year. So ako, other than boxing kasi, I cover MMA. And I also cover a lot of one championships. Sabi mo kanina, at official athlete rankings panelist ako because I have a say sa rankings ng one championship in each division. I have my vote on that. So before I became a panelist there, as a pure journalist, I get to travel a lot. So I got to travel around Asia by covering MMA. So dyan, alam mo bro, ito hindi ako nakasakay ng eroplano until I became a writer. The first time I was able to hop on a plane, until first time I was able to hop on a plane was in 2014. Nag-cover ako ng Pinoy Pride sa Cebu.
Talaga?
Yeah, that was the first time.
Pero based in Manila ka ba?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm based in Manila. So that was the first time that I was able. So to me, that was already a huge thing. The fact that I was able to board the plane and get an out of town coverage. And a year later, they were flying me to Singapore. They would fly me to Malaysia. They would fly me to Myanmar. They would fly me to Macau. So I think that was in 2016, 2017. Almost every month na akong travel kasi again, maraming Filipinong i-cover sa mundo ng MMA, especially when we're talking about Team Lakay. They're really the draw kasi when it comes to Philippine MMA. So there was a point in time na parang almost every month na akong nagta-travel. I go to Bangkok. Like I said, I get to travel around Asia. And it's a lot of fun, I went to Japan. So kung titingnan mo yung passport ko bro, ang fulfilling kasi ang daming stamp.
Grabe,
yeah. But then again, those travels are not just, you know, sa mga viewers mo, and I think you're more of a travel channel. Hindi naman po yun mostly for R&R lang eh, no? Hindi, it's not just for leisure. Of course, you know, a part of it, but mainly we go there to work. So when I go there, my focus is on my job to perform my duty as a reporter.
Pero bakit parang 2014 ka lang nakalipad? Hindi ka ba mahilig mag-travel talaga noon? O sadyang puro land trip lang yung mga pinagkagagawa mo?
You know what? To be honest with you, land trip, yeah, kami, family, punta kami ng Baguio, punta kaming
O, yung mga
Laguna.
ganun.
Alam mo yun, ganun-ganun lang kami.
Oo.
You know, and honestly, to be honest with you, bro, I didn't come from a wealthy family. So, you know, travel was never a concept eh sa amin eh na, oh, we'll go to a different country, nagbabakasyon tayo, wala. It was, you know, may budget ng parents ko were, you know, was very tight. So, it was never in the picture. So, yeah, that's the only time. Wala akong passport noon I only got my passport in 2015. And
Oo,
as soon
no.
as I got my passport, they started flying me around, pare. So, you know,
Oo.
it was a lot of fun.
Oh, actually, nabanggit mo ang yun, kung tutusin mo, tayong mga Filipino talaga, in general, although it's changing nowadays, wala talaga sa culture natin yung magta-travel ka abroad for the sake of traveling alone. 'Di ba? Pansin mo 'yun? Naalala ko noon nung bata ako,
Yeah,
hindi mo talaga maririnig sa kapitbahay na pupunta kami ng Singapore kasi magbabakasyon na kami. Hindi eh. Or usually nung maalala ko noon, sa probinsya rin ako lumaki, ang mga tao magta-travel lang sa abroad kung magwo-work or kung may seminar na papadala sila, may seminar na 3 days, 1 week. Pero yung concept na magbabakasyon ako sa Cambodia, wala yung concept. Ngayon lang yung parang medyo na-change na kasi sa internet siguro, tsaka mura na yung mga flights.
yeah. I mean, even up to now, bro, I won't say that it's, you know, it's cheap. No, I mean, traveling is expensive. You have to book your flights. You have to book a hotel. I mean, marami naman discount. I guess my Airbnb and stuff. You know, you have to. Kasi ako, when I travel, bro, I'm not really looking forward to much seeing yung mga, kahit sabihin mo yung mga signature tourist o hotspot.
Mga major
Alam,
spots.
yeah, I'm not into that. Alam mo ako, kasi personally, what I want is to try the food. You know,
Yun.
that's what I look forward to. So I've been to Indonesia. Sige, kain tayo ng Indonesian food, you know. I've been to Macau. Honestly, di ko gano'n nagustuhan yung food doon, but
Hindi
I
ko
enjoyed
nagusto yung,
yung,
hindi ko nagusto yung food na Macau eh. Sa totoo lang.
yeah, nag-enjoy ako sa food sa Macau kasi sa hotel namin, grabe, parang United Nations yung buffet.
Oh,
So,
western na yun.
yeah. Di, actually, lahat meron.
Lahat,
So,
oh.
Asian food, like, Western food. So, that's what I actually look forward to the most when I travel. So, it's expensive. So, the thing about me is, when I get to do this travels, of course, everything is paid for.
Oh, yun
You
yung maganda
know,
dun eh.
yeah, so my tickets, you know, my accommodation, everything is paid for. What I do, kung mag-shop ako, kung mag-food trip ako, well, of course, that is on me. So there are times na maraming beses na, honestly, nakakatawa, I don't know if I'm even supposed to say this, but many of my trips, I ended up spending more than actually earning sa trip na yun because that's what I do. Kasi, tulad sa Baco, bro, isipin mo na lang, I did the bungee jump do sa
Sa
Macau
Macau.
Tower. Yeah, it used to be the highest.
Highest ata yun eh. Or sa
Yeah.
Dubai. Parang, either
Yeah,
Dubai
that
or
was the
dun.
highest. At least nung time na yun, I think that was in 2016, 2017
Oo.
when I did that. You know what? No, sorry, 2018. That time highest pa. Pero AJ Hackett came up with another bungee sa China naman that defeated that
Okay.
So, yeah, isipin mo that jump alone in the package, I think that was some 25,000-30,000.
Gano'n? Mahal naman.
Yeah, it's expensive, bro.
Kasi nag-bungee rin
So,
ako sa Thailand. Parang 5,000 lang ata yun eh.
oh yeah, well, I guess this has something to do with the height and
Oo.
being in Macau. It was hell expensive. A month before that, so nasa Macau, di ba? A month before that, I was in Singapore. So, syempre, nasa Singapore ako, gustong-gusto nung nalaman ko na mayroon ng bungee din. Syempre, ako being sobrang pangarap ko gawin yun since I was a kid, me and my dad. Syempre, nag-bungee jumping din ako dun sa sa AJ Hackett sa Sentosa. Diba? And that
Grabe.
was like some 10,000 pesos. Eh, isipin mo naman, ang mahal ng pagkain sa Singapore, bro. If you know Singapore, nothing is cheap there. So, I always end up spending more, when I actually travel.
Pero sulit naman, 'di ba? Sa edad mong 'yan na nagawa mo 'yun. Kasi ang lagi kong prinsipyo sa travel, ang panahon lumilipas, hindi natin mababalik. Pero yung pera, kailangan natin yung pera pero pwede kasing kitain yan ulit. Yun yung prinsipyo ko. Kaya for me, pagka gumastos ako sa travel, of course, nagkatabi ako for budgeting or saving. Pero yung iba kasi parang ayaw mag-travel kahit na may pera. May kung wala kang pera, understandable naman na may priority ka food. Pero kung yung iba kasi kahit may pera, ayaw pa rin gastusin for travel kasi nga parang hindi ganun ka-importante. Pero for me, tulad yan, buhay mo, dadaan lang yan. Hindi mo na mababalik yan. Yung ganyang edad mo, ganyang lakas mo. Nagawa mo yung mga yon. Yung pera, nawala, pero kikitain mo ulit yun. So, for me, okay lang yun.
Yeah, yeah. The beauty about traveling, bro, is you actually get to see the world. When isipin mo, first country na I've been to outside of the Philippines, of course, was Singapore. All right.
Ang ganda agad.
Yeah,
First word agad.
you get to see the world, and there will be times na you will actually come up with the realization. Then, why are we this way in the Philippines? Why are they this way in Singapore? Ganto ganyan. Marami. So, ma-open din yung yung mind mo about the things that's happening, what's going on in other parts of the world. So, sa akin, sabihin ko bang it's worth it? Oo naman, bro. Libre na nga yung flight and accommodation ko. Magre-reklamo pa ba ako? So, it's sobrang worth it sa akin. And nabusog ako, di ba? Ang hilig ko kumain eh. So, ang hilig ko tumigim. So, when I'm in Singapore, bro, alam ko na yung mga spots sa Singapore na, I like going to places na, alam mo yun, yung hindi siya parang tourist hotspot na restaurant. I like to eat where the locals eat.
Oo.
That's
masarap yun.
Mas masarap yun, brother. Yung mga akala mo, titingnan mo sa online, akala mo barag-barag lang yung itsura. Sa Singapore, sa Geylang, may kinakain ako doon, Bangkok, and that, what, they serve the best ever salted
Geylang, din yung mga parang Chinese area ng Singapore, no?
Yeah, it's actually the red light district of
Oh,
Singapore.
red light.
Yeah.
Nakapot.
The funny thing about Geylang is, it's a red light.
Ang mura kasi ng mga hotel doon. Doon yung hotel ko
nun
nun
mga inuman, andun yung inuman. The thing about it is, andun din yung mga masasarap na pagkain, Muslim, Indian food,
yung Indian
local
food
food.
Yun yung masarap yung Indian food doon.
Madami. So, one of the restaurants I go to is called Bangkok. It's, bro, probably the best fried rice and definitely the best salted egg pork ribs na nakain ko sa buong buhay ko. And so that's what I do. I go to where the locals go. Fortunately kasi may mga friends na nakatira doon, so they know, they showed me the place. So when my wife first came, di ko pa siya wife noon, 2018 2019, before we got married, we went to Singapore. So when we went to Singapore, alam ko na yung mga spots where to go to.
Okay? Nun.
Yeah. So, ang sarap. Pinatry. Siya sobrang hilig niya sa salted egg. Of course, vinidyoan ko siya. She went crazy when she had her first bite. And I was like, my God, that was the same reaction when I tasted this food. Kapag katitingnan ka pa rin ng mga, spots to visit Singapore, restaurants to visit, ako, I see, tumitingin din ako sa mga website You don't even see the name. Because makikita mo doon, puro locals, rare ka makakita ng mga andun. But that's the places that I like going to. Another thing, if I may share, pare. So, I've been to Bangkok, right? I've been to Bangkok. Ang dami kong kinainan na.
The best yung Bangkok for me, pagdating sa food.
Yeah. Ang dami kong kinainan na street food, yung mga restaurants doon, bro, yung mga kinainan namin doon, we were hosted na top of the line na talagang, yung mga hipon, mga limasag, mga ganyan kalaki. I've tasted some of the most ridiculous seafoods that I ever had, some of the best tasting foods that I ever had. Chicken, ganyan, iba-iba. Pero itong nakakatawa. Tanong mo sa akin, saan yung fried chicken na, again, kumain kami sa hotels, kumain kami doon sa mga restaurants
street.
na
Sa street.
Yeah, kumain kami sa street, kumain kami sa hotels, kumain kami sa mga talagang big restaurants, mga sikat na restaurants that you would see in travel sites. Pero tanong mo sa akin, bro, where did I get to taste the best fried chicken na nasa Bangkok ako?
Sa street.
Pare, sorry. It's not even in the streets, pare. So I went to Lumpini Stadium to watch a Muay Thai event.
Oh,
Okay?
dun yung mga Muay Thai eh.
Oh, yeah. Sa tabi nun may gas station and there was a freaking shack on the side of that gas station. Barag-barag,
Oo.
right? And they were selling fried chicken for
Ito ba
15
yung
baht.
ito ba yung fried chicken na usually may kasamang sticky
Sticky
rice?
rice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They sell it per don't pare they sell it per piece. So if you want the sticky rice, you can order it separately. Bro, would you believe that was the best fried chicken I've had in Bangkok? Like I I remember eating like 6, 7 pieces.
Wow. Talo yung Max ah.
Iba eh. Ang hirap eh kasi parang ibang class sila eh. But the thing was, I've ate a lot in Bangkok. Sa mga hotel na pinuntahan ko, sa mga top of the line restaurants na pinuntahan ko. And yet, you're gonna tell me, ako the best fried chicken that I ever had was, in this shack, at the back of a gasoline station beside Lumpini. Na, hindi ko man lang in-expect na andun kasi tagun-tago siya and the locals were eating there. So that's the fun of
Oo.
That's
Actually,
the fun of travel.
yung Thai food, yun ang napati ko sa Thai food eh. The more na doon ka sa sidewalk, mas masarap siya. Yun na, oo, totoo. Kasi minsan may mga food court din na akala mo mas malinis. Minsan gusto mo sa food court kasi mas malinis. Or sa restaurant na sit-down restaurant. Same dish. Like for example, yung pad krapao na tawag nila. Yung chicken basil na may rice. Iba talaga pag sa street, sabi nila siguro yung mga mas madumi, yun yung masarap eh.
Though ako, to be fair, so I've had tom yum here in the Philippines.
Nako, iba yung tom yum dito.
Oo, ibang-iba yung sa Bangkok eh. But to be fair, yung tom yum na nakain ko, the best I've had was, in this tourist district sa Bangkok. I forgot the name of the place. But in Bangkok na maraming bars, maraming inuman, the best tom yum I've ever had in my life was there. And before I'm not sure if that was my last time in Bangkok, but before we departed Bangkok, we went to this riverside restaurant, sobrang elegant.
Famous yun. Chao Phraya River.
Yeah, I forgot the name, bro. But we ordered a lot of seafood, a lot of kumain din ako tom yum. But the best I've really had was that yung sa tourist district ng Bangkok. So again, you never know. Ako nga, kilala mo si Mark Wins?
Uy, paborito kong yun, travel vlog,
diba?
food and travel vlogger.
Yeah. That's what I like about him. Kasi he doesn't go to fancy restaurants na he likes to throw what's on the side of the street, diba? Isipin mo, nandito sa Pilipinas, kumain siya sa Aling Susings.
Kumain siya sa mga karinderya sa Maynila.
Kumain siya, di ba? That's what I like about him. And personally, that's what I try to do because that's really, I feel like that's how you really get to taste what's, the locals eh. It's what the locals eat. So, I feel like that's how you should do it when you travel.
Oh, totoo. Tsaka yung trip mo, talagang maganda rin yun. Kanya-kanyang trip sa travel eh. May mga iba trip na sa hotel, sa resort. May mga, ako trip ko, historical sites. Mapunta ka historical sites, okay na ako. Ikaw naman, food. Kanya-kanyang trip yun. Pero at the end of the day, yung culture nun, natututo tayo. Lalo yung food, malaking, it tells a lot about the place by just looking at their food.
I'm not saying na hindi ako pupunta sa historical sites. Definitely, I've been to a lot of historical sites, especially when I was in Bangkok, when I was in Myanmar. I've always considered Singapore as my second home kasi
madalas ka dun?
Madalas ako doon. I used to work there. I used to work there as a boxing trainer kasi sa Singapore.
Wow.
Back in 2016. So I've always felt like it considered Singapore as my second home. So even yung mga pinakasulok-sulukan na Singapore na puro puno-puno na lang, alam mo yun, na napuntahan ko na rin yun. So it's not like I don't like going sa mga sites or whatnot. It's just that ako when I go there, ang sige, after that, sa kakain, what are we going to try?
Sarap nun. Lala ko sa Singapore yung influence kasi by Crazy Rich Asians na movie. Napanood mo na ba yun?
Oh yeah. Not too long ago actually, natin this one. But nung ko sa Netflix pinanood ko,
Pumunta ako sa hawker center na finisher doon dahil lang sa movie. Napan ko yung movie. Tapos pagpunta ko sa Singapore, I have to go to this hawker center na finisher sa movie. Yung main talaga nila, di ba? Yeah. Which is medyo touristy, pero masarap pa din.
Yeah. Hawker Chan, one of the things I always do in Singapore when I go there is I never fail to make that walk sa Marina Bay Sands, Marina Square, 'di ba? Malaki
Mm.
'yon.
Mm.
Ang haba noon. 'Di ba marami nag-jogging doon? So I never
Tapos
fail
may
to
parang
make that
lake
walk.
sa may
Sa
lake.
bandang doon sa Marina Square, meron ng hawker doon.
Ah,
So
meron na?
sometimes, meron bro. Merong hawker doon. What's funny is meron pa kang Jerry's doon sa hawker eh. So
Ah,
it's not
talaga?
like you're going, may Jerry's Grill doon. So I always make that walk, and of course nung when I brought my wife to Singapore, syempre pinagod ko rin siya, pinaglakad ko din siya. And one of the favorite restaurants that I like going to sa Singapore. So, hawker. Sometimes, if you want to eat some chicken rice or whatever it is, you go to that, hawker. Um, After that, one of the restaurants that I like going to, pag nasa Singapore ako, is yung sa Marina Square, is yung Aston's. Steakhouse siya. But the difference with this is only sides. So, yung
Salad.
mashed potato, salad, corn, and everything, it's only. So gravy, I just really like it. I love it.
Grabe, ano? Actually, marami nagsasabing mahal ang food sa Singapore. Nabanggit mga din kanina. Pero napansin ko, hindi naman siya ganun kamahal. I mean, compare sa Philippines, syempre, mas mahal siya. Pero, na-compare ko kasi sa Hong Kong. Hong Kong talaga yung sumuko ko sa presyo ng food. Nakapunta ka na ba ng Hong Kong?
No, I've never been to Hong Kong.
Mas mahal ang Hong Kong kaysa Singapore.
May mga nagsabi
Pagdating
nga
sa
sa
food.
akin. Yeah.
Ang mahal ng
Pero
Hong Kong, grabe.
so ito bro, here's the crazy part. So I live in Singapore. I ate a lot of food, street food hawker, restaurant Singapore. Na-try mo ba yung Sweet Tune sa Singapore, sa Little India?
Hindi
Iconic place din yun, bro. Kahit madaling araw ka pumunta doon, pipila ka, kukuha ka ng number. So, anyway, here's the crazy part. Okay? So, natikman ko na lahat ng klase. Kung saan ako tumikim ng chicken rice sa Singapore. No? I live there. At least at one point in my life, I've been there like at least once a month. I go there every 2 months. Kasi sister ko andun din siya, based siya doon eh. She works in Singapore. So, what's the crazy part is, ask me, sa tingin mo, saan ko natikman yung pinakamasarap na chicken rice?
May mga dun eh, yung mga hawker center na Michelin star, dun ba?
Yeah. So, Hawker Chan, you would think, di ba?
Oo.
Hawker Chan. Here's the crazy part, pare. The best chicken rice I've ever had after living in Singapore, after tasting Hawker Chan, again, kanya-kanyang taste lang, di naman to, after going around Singapore, was not in Singapore.
Sa Bangkok.
It's in the Philippines. Doon ko
What?
nakain.
Chicken rice?
It's in Alabang Town Center, pare, yung Wee Nam Ki. That's the best chicken rice I've ever had. It's a Singaporean restaurant. Hindi ko siya nakain sa Singapore, but I've tried it here in the Philippines. And
That's interesting.
It was the best chicken rice I've ever had. Crazy.
Oh, that's interesting kasi usually yung mga cuisine ng mga bansa-bansa pagka dinala sa ibang bansa, naiiba yung lasa tsaka
especially
malayo.
Hawker Chan.
Especially yung mga ganun. Like, siguro Italian not so much. For example, Italian food. Tapos may Italian restaurant sa Australia, siguro hindi malayo masyado yung lasa. Pero pag yung mga Asian dishes or ng mga especially Thai dishes, yung mga ganyan, mag-open sila ng restaurant sa ibang bansa, ibang-iba na yung lasa. Pero ikaw, nagustuhan mo kahit na nag-open sila sa ibang bansa. Parang that's
very authentic. Yeah, very authentic yung lasa ng chicken rice nila, bro. And honestly, mas masarap nga sa mga nakain ko pa doon sa Singapore itself, which is crazy because I could remember the worst chicken rice and the best chicken rice I've had. The worst chicken rice I've ever had is yung sa what do you call this, sa mga mall, sa fast food nila. Yeah, sa food court ng Changi. I would remember.
Okay.
That was the
dami restaurant dun eh.
Yeah, that one, I forgot the name. That was the worst chicken rice I've ever had.
Singapore pa mismo,
Yeah. But yeah, the best one, Vietnam Ki, if you ever get the chance, well, you should try it. It's really good. It's really good. The chicken rice only, kung itatry mo na yung mga other food nila like yung mga salted egg food nila, yung shrimp paste, ayun, kasi mahilig din ako sa shrimp paste wings shrimp paste chicken. Wala na, malayo na. It's just the
The chicken, oh,
chicken rice
siguro
alone.
natsambahan lang yun talaga. Kasi
Yeah,
usually, hindi mo talaga makukuha pag sa ibang bansa. Kasi syempre yung ingredients, so maraming factors yung
yeah,
authenticity
yeah,
ng local na nagluto. Pero siguro natsambahan nila maganda. Pag ako
yeah,
pag chicken rice, gusto ko yung mga nasa Bangkok. Uso rin kasi sa Bangkok yun eh.
yeah,
Sa
yeah,
mga sidewalk. Ang
yeah.
mura lang, chicken
I,
rice
I I
uso
also
din.
tried it. Ang ginawa namin sa Bangkok naman, nag-ano kami, ano yun? Yung Thai boat, ano yun? Tawag doon?
Noodles yun. Thai boat noodles, yung
Oh,
ba sabi mo?
yung tawag nila, parang sangyup nila doon, di ba?
Oo, sarap
Parang
nun.
Thai boat or Thai barbie. I forgot, So we did that, and we did it a few times sa Bangkok. Anyway, we've tried it, no. But here's another crazy part. Where do you think I've got the best Thai barbecue, Thai boat? I forgot the name. You know what? Let me check it out. Thai barbecue boat. I forgot eh. Well, anyway, it's like Thai barbecue. Okay, it's some boat that they call na nilalagyan ng soup, and then you grill, on the side, right? So I tried
Okay,
that.
okay.
Yeah, I tried that in Bangkok a few times. But here's the crazy part. Where do you think I've got the best Thai experience? Na gano'n na, Thai barbecue in whatever that boat they call.
Sa Pinas na naman ba
Steamboat.
yan?
Steamboat. Thai steamboat. Yeah,
Thai
that's how they
steamboat.
call it.
Thai steamboat.
Yeah, Thai steamboat. You know where I got the best Thai steamboat experience and best food I had?
Oh, saan bro?
Singapore.
Ganun?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's weird, right?
Pero
It's
siguro
weird.
yung mga locals na rin nagluluto nun. Kasi usually
Yeah,
hindi siya
to be
makukuha
fair.
ng ano eh. Baka local, baka mismong Thai yung mga nandun.
Yeah, to be
Ito,
fair,
nakita ko yung
Thai yung
picture.
owner.
Nakita ko yung picture. Alam ko yung sinasabi mo. Kasi tumira din ako sa Bangkok, 5 years ako doon.
Okay.
Kaya hindi ko makuha kanina kasi English yung term mo. Kasi ang tawag na sa Thai nito, mukata ang tawag namin.
Yeah.
Very cheap to, very cheap. Nalala ko nandun ako, it's even less than 100 baht. Nung time na yun matagal na yun. So, parang may pagka-buffet siya na luluto-lutuin mo nga na may
Yeah,
ganun.
yeah.
Oo,
Soup,
ganda,
'di
ganda.
ba?
Oo, soup.
So yung mukata na yan, mukata. So yun pala sa pronunciation diyan. So the best Thai steamboat experience I've ever had was, again, not in Bangkok but in Singapore. It's called Happy Mukata. Dun sa Singapore, and it was introduced to me by my sister. It was just in a parking lot, pare. Which is not even a hawker or ano. It was just in a parking lot. What's crazy about them? Of course, yung tom yum unlimited na. Yung seafood, yung shrimp, yung crabs unlimited. Yung kanila, nilagyan nila ng twist, pare. So there is melted cheese na nando sa pot, and
Talaga?
yeah, unlimited,
With
pati
cheese.
yung chicken pop and fries.
May pagka-western na.
Yeah, but bro, it's so good. It's so good. Surprisingly, it works well with the Thai steamboat. It was
Hmm.
introduced to me by my sister, and sobrang nagustuhan ko, bro. Kasi ako, hindi ako gano'ng magulay eh. Hindi ako gano'ng magulay.
Oh,
So, I just
oo.
mainly eat the ano.
Yun,
So,
magulay yun eh. Parang katumbas yun ng mga siguro sa atin, yung mga shabu-shabu, mga ganun.
yeah. Ganun na nga, ganun na
Hmm.
nga.
Ang galing talagang na ano ka sa food ng ibang countries. Pero madalas ka nag-travel almost every month. May mga travel
Na,
rituals ka ba? 'Di ba? Kasi usually yung mga regular travel, may travel rituals sila. Ikaw may mga gano'n ka ba na I have to do this whenever I travel or in terms of kahit packing or something sa airport?
when I get to travel, kasi like I said, when I travel, it's usually work. Parang I can remember, parang twice lang hata ako nag-travel for leisure eh.
Oo.
So there was a time na I did a coverage in KL sa Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and after my coverage there, I decided to book a flight to Singapore. Doon na rin ako eh, less than parang 30 minutes lang hata eh. So me being a Singapore boy na sobrang I want to be there all the time. So I booked there, spent a few days with my friends and my sister, and that's the first one, no. After that, I went home. The second was for my sister's wedding.
Sa Singapore.
Yeah, Singapore then. That was in 2019, before the pandemic. So, I was with my then girlfriend and now my wife. So, twice only. Ngayon, when I when I pack my bags, I just, I just bring with me a small luggage and yung lalagyan ko ng ng laptop, and is where I put my passport and stuff. Yeah, sometimes nagdadala ako ng backpack kapag it's going to take a week kasi bro, may mga coverage kami na sometimes isang linggo kami nandun sa area,
Grabe, ano?
sa bansa. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes 5 days, sometimes 3, 4. So, you never know eh. So, depende sa kanila. But what I always bring with me is just my laptop bag.
Pero ang
Goals
pakakasarap ng
ko,
ganung buhay, no?
well, bro, here's the thing. We always say after everything's done, the coverage, I can honestly say that I have the best job in the world. And I don't even feel like I'm working because I really love what I do. And I'm really fortunate to be doing this because not a lot of
Mm,
people can actually say they love what they do for a living. And I
totoo.
get to say that. So, alam mo, goals ko ito. I've never been to the US, at least not yet. Kasi wife ko, she has a visa, and we've always wanted to go to the US, but ako never had the chance yet. So
Oo.
we're planning to get visa, and yun nga, nagka-pandemic na, ganyan-ganyan. So napurnada na. And I also get invited by, di na ako magme-mention ng mga fighters. They always invite me to cover them abroad.
Wow.
So yeah, they invite me. They're gonna pay for my accommodation and flight. No, so it's just a matter of me getting a visa, but which I never came to acquire yet. At least not yet. Actually, since the pandemic. But when it comes to goals, there are two places that I want to visit before I die, and it's actually in the US. Okay, one is in Texas, yung Salt Lake restaurant. I want to eat there.
Salt Lake
Okay na.
Restaurant.
Yeah, it's barbecue. And the second is also in the US and New York, yung Peter Luger Steakhouse, because I'm a steak lover. Eh.
Grabe, talagang food trip ka pala talaga
Yeah,
pag
yeah.
nagta-travel ka, ano?
Yeah, bro. So if,
Barbecue, tsaka
yeah,
steak naman sa
yeah,
New York. New York ba
yeah,
sinabi mo?
yeah, New York. That's in New York, and the ones in Salt Lake barbecues. Maybe I'll send the link to you para maging goals mo din. But if you actually see the food there, maybe baka maging goal mo din. But those are the two places that I really badly want to visit. Yung dalawa na yun.
So, ano bang paboritong cuisine mo?
Bro, what's funny is I've been talking food all this time, right? We've been talking about food, but believe it or not, very picky kasi ako sa food eh. I don't eat fish, for one.
Ikaw yung Mark Wins na picky, ano?
Yeah, yeah. I don't eat fish. The only fish I eat is
Salmon.
no. I don't like salmon. I don't eat that. Tuyo tsaka tinapa. Yun ang gusto ko. I don't like salmon, tilapia, mga ano to yung
Ay,
mahaba. Ano yun? What do you call
dalag.
that yung may
Il.
Anyway, I don't eat
Catfish.
those. I don't eat
Hito.
I don't eat that.
Hito. Oh.
Yun, hito. Yeah, I don't like hito because a lot of people like hito, but no, I don't eat hito. Sa Filipino food, there's so many that I don't eat either. Hindi ako makain ng kare-kare, hindi ako kumakain ng
Yung
nilaga,
sarap ng kare-kare.
hindi ako kumakain ng bulalo unless it's sizzling. Ayoko ng menudo unless it's my mother-in-law cooking kasi yung menudo niya iba eh. Hindi ako kumakain ng puchero. Ayoko ng lumpiang hilaw. So, sobrang picky ako. Kaya yung mga kasama ko sa media lagi, alam na nila when they come with me, nakakaawa nga eh kasi one of my closest friends, he's also a writer and he's now an editor sa International Business Times. Ni si Icasiano. So, lagi ko yung kasama. Lagi kami kasama sa hotel. When we travel kami, lagi kami napapadala kung saan-saan. Na minsan gutom na yan pero di pa makakain kasi we always go around looking for a place where I can actually eat something that I would like. So marami nang tiniis na gutom yung tao sa akin. Because when we go out, syempre isipin mo pare na, if you're new to the country or whatever, you don't know the place, so you have to find something. Bago ka doon, malay mo ba where the hell you're gonna get those food, diba? So yeah, I don't eat fish, I don't eat that. I don't eat vegetables. So, yun. No, but the food that I love, the food that I eat, that I never get tired of eating it. Sabi nga ng asawa ko, how come I never get tired of eating chicken? Kasi I can eat chicken for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then we can do it again the next day. Then maybe the day after that and the day after that. I never get tired of eating it. Yun nakakatawa.
Marami ako
So,
nilang ganyan, chicken talaga.
yeah. But sa seafood, bro, I mean, when it comes to seafood, I just really like shrimp, crabs. That's about it.
So sa mga bansang napuntahan mo, ano yung favorite mo?
Well, Singapore. Wala na. You know, I don't know if it's just bias or maybe I haven't seen the better part of Japan because sabi nila for me the best place that I should have visited daw sa Japan is Osaka, but I went to Tokyo and nag-enjoy ko rin naman in Tokyo. You know, I for the first time nakatikim ako ng tunay na ramen kasi nasa Tokyo na ako. Dito kasi
Oo.
sa atin puro ramen-ramenan lang eh. Though
Oo.
masarap yung Mendokoro. So I've been to Japan, I ate a lot in Japan as you would expect. Iba yung ano dun eh, kahit yung chicken karage nila dun, brother, pati yung miso soup, iba eh. Ang layo eh, sa kinakain natin eh. Pati
Malay sa
yung,
Tokyo, no?
yan, I mean, hindi lang sa Tokyo to, I mean, that's just, fake
Parang hindi na
Japanese.
Japanese yun, no?
Yeah,
Yung
yeah, it's
Tokyo.
just fast food eh. But, pati yung, ano nila, yung, what you call this, the samurai, the takoyaki, oh my God.
Takoyaki.
Let me share something when I was in Japan, right? So I was with my friend. We were walking around traveling Tokyo. Okay? So we've seen this takoyaki spot, right? Sobrang haba ng pila, brother. Sobrang haba. It's just crazy line. And then people are eating dun sa side bench. And then meron silang restaurant sa loob. You go up the elevator and then you eat there. So makita mo yung takoyaki nila, bro, as in both sides. Sobrang dami, crazy serving. Ang laki ng takoyaki nila. Dito makita mo yung takoyaki para ganyan eh, 'di ba? Doon ang laki, para ganon. Okay. So one of the goals when I went to Japan is to actually try takoyaki. What it really tastes like. Kasi ako dito sa Pilipinas, bro, samurai lang sold na ako eh. 'Di ba? Yung mga nasa food court. So when we went to Japan, one of the things I wanted to do was to try authentic takoyaki. So we went there, kasama ko yung friend ko. Crazy part about that was isang order ng takoyaki, 8 pieces. And isipin mo bro, ang laki. It's like parang siyang half rice or parang ganun yung serving niya. And the minimum order was 8 pieces. So we were like, ano to? I mean, hindi naman namin gusto magbaboy. So we were like, sabi namin, okay, let's just order one and then tig-apat tayo, di ba? So sinerve yung takoyaki. Kakaiba yung takoyaki na doon kasi parang meron sila nung what do you call this, yung egg na scrambled egg. So they scoop it, alam mo yung ginagamit na pang ice cream, na pang scoop ng ice cream ganon. So may scrambled egg sila, they use yung pang scoop ng ice cream and then they put it on top nung takoyaki. Okay, so crazy, right? I haven't tried anything like that. I've tried many takoyakis din naman here in the Philippines because I like it. But I've never had that here. And then I got to Japan. So, we fell in line, right? Naghintay kaming kahaba-haba ng pila. Finally, we got our food. Isang order, 8 pieces. And then we went upstairs. Naghintay kami ng seat namin. Okay. Verdict. Siya, brother. Nung nakain namin yung first piece, what? Okay, now there is a reason why bakit pinipilahan to. It's nothing like I've ever had na takoyaki. And that very moment nung first bite ko, bro, seriously nagsisi ako. Why the hell did I not order the 8 pieces? Nagsisi ako. Why the hell did I not order 8 pieces? Now
ang hirap pa pumila. Diba? Pipila ka na naman.
You gonna tell me I'm gonna go back in line?
Wow.
Oh my God. And we had so much to do that day. So, yeah, pero pinagpipicture ko yun. In-story ko talaga. Finally, oh my God, it was just so good.
Hindi pa yan Hindi pa Osaka yan. Tokyo pa lang yan. Kasi Osaka talaga yung center ng takoyaki sa Japan eh.
Yeah, they say it's the kitchen of Japan, right?
Oo. Tsaka doon galing yun.
Okay.
Origin ng takoyaki.
Bro, let's just put it this way. I would go back to Japan for that takoyaki alone. If you're gonna tell me that I have to go there, go to that stand, and then you're gonna bring me back to the airport and go home, I will do it in a heartbeat.
Wow. Talagang napaka-passionate mo sa food na gusto mo talaga, no? Bihira yung ganyan eh. Which is, hindi, maganda yan. Kasi talagang kung passionate ka sa isang bagay, it makes you happy talaga. Like, reminds me of Mark Queen, sila, Anthony Bourdain, like very passionate sa food, Although picky ka,
That's
pero pag gusto mo,
right?
Nalala ko, may kulturang ganyan yung Japan na pagka masarap pipilahan nila. Kasi pumunta ako sa fish market naman doon, yung bagsakan ng tuna. Tsukiji ang pangalan, fish market. Maaga,
Okay.
kailangan, alas 4 ako, pumunta ako doon. Merong, syempre, fish market yun, ang daming sushi place. And by the way, yung
Okay.
fish market lang na yun ang sa buong buhay ko, ang nakita kong fish market na walang amoy. Diba
Okay.
usually
Okay.
fish market, medyo
Yeah,
amoy
yeah,
isda.
malansa.
Oh,
Yeah,
walang amoy
malansa.
talaga, ganun kalinis yung Japan. Ang daming sushi place, mga sashimi place, pero may isang sushi place doon na sikat. Yung pila hanggang kalsada. Tapos nung uminit
Nice.
na, nagpapayong, summer ako noon eh, nagpapayong yung mga tao. Yun hindi ko maintindihan, sa dinami-dami ng sushi place, itong sushi place na to, magsasakripisyo kang tumayo, mapagod, para lang makatikim ng sushi. Ang dami naman sa paligid. May ganun silang concept eh, na pipilahan talaga nila yan. Sa China naman, yung mga milk tea naman doon, pag unang labasan sa Beijing ng milk tea, pipilahan talaga nila yan. Grabe, no? Yung mga tao.
Yeah.
They will go to great lengths para sa
Ah,
pagkain.
yeah, that's actually one of the reasons why I want to go to Taiwan too. Kasi, yung
Bubble
that
tea. Mail ka ba sa bubble
yeah,
tea?
I drink milk tea, okay? So, the thing is, all right, so akala ko Bangkok has the best street food, pero one of the travel sites that I visited, I saw, they actually rated Taiwan street food as the number one and second yung Bangkok. So, that got me curious, and hopefully one of these days makavisit. My wife wants to go there. I want to go there too, and I want to go there to eat mainly and try the street food. Sinabi din ng mga friends ko nakapunta na that sobrang sarap nga raw ng street food doon. So, one of the
Masarap
days travel.
kasi ano eh, may part yung tinatawag nilang night market, Taipei night market, doon yung mga street food. So ang ganda ng vibe. Tapos gabi hindi masyadong mainit. Tapos ang dami. Ang number one na titikman mo doon pag pumunta ka sa Taipei, yung tinatawag nilang oyster oyster omelette.
Oh yeah, I think I've
Oyster
heard of it.
omelette.
Yeah,
Yun ang sobrang sobrang sarap nun. Yun talaga yung best seller doon. Pero before pandemic kasi pumunta na ako ng Taiwan. Sayang nga nagka-pandemic kasi yung Taiwan dati may visa tayo diyan eh. We need visa to go to Taiwan
yeah, yeah,
before. Pero lately hindi na natin kailangan ng visa tapos
yeah. They
meron ng
lifted.
Air Asia from Cebu, which is kami mga taga Mindanao, madali na lang mga taga Visayas. From Cebu Airport going to Taipei, Air Asia, napakamura. As in napakamura, like
Nice.
like 5,000 pesos round
Nice.
trip or 7,000. Sayang tapos biglang nagka-pandemic.
Yeah, dami. Ako rin eh. I mean, honestly, I would have loved to, go around, with my wife, with my 1-year-old baby, and, my boys na makapag-travel din. But, this pandemic has really halted that plans, Yeah, Taiwan, I want to visit. Before the pandemic, 2020, we were planning to go to South Korea. We
Ah,
wanted to go to South Korea
ang sarap
in
din doon.
December, if not Fresno, California sa US kasi relatives ng wife ko, they live in California. So, those were the plans. Until now, it's just a plan because of this COVID-19 pandemic.
So yung job mo bro, you work on the road. Ano yun, na-imagine ko kaharap mo lagi laptop mo kasi reporter ka. Hindi ba nakakapagod din minsan yan? Kasi although it's like a dream job, nakita natin, one of my favorite movies, Up in the Air. Kung di mo pa napanood, maganda yun, Up in the Air.
Okay.
Parati nagka-travel. So na-imagine ko ganun yung ginagawa mo in a way. So, kumusta naman? May times din ba na parang, napagod ka, na burnout ka of always traveling o talagang excited ka lagi?
Burnout, I don't think I will ever be burned out, well, the thing about burnout is you never know when it's going to happen. So I guess di ako pwede magsalita ng tapos. But sa napagod, oo naman bro. Oo naman, lagi.
Di ba? Mga
So,
deadline, may deadline to,
yeah,
matapos
yeah,
mo to.
lagi. The thing about this job is, people only see yung fun parts of it,
Oo.
'di ba? That we get to meet personalities, we get to be friends with them sometimes. We get to interview them, we get to travel. They see the fun part and I think it's all that. Pero behind the scenes, there's a lot of things going on. Siyempre, as a writer, mainly ang gumagana is yung utak mo, which is, and recently I came to the conclusion that it's even harder na ang utak mo pagod kaysa sa physical mo kasi sanay ako sa physical you know. So, yeah. I mean, look, have you ever been to an event, a fight event?
Hindi pa live eh.
Boxing. Oh, hindi live. Okay. Well,
Puro
here's the
TV
thing.
lang.
Yeah, puro TV. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, isipin mo yun. Nasa TV ka, pinapanood mo, right? When the fight is over, main event, sabihin na natin kay Pacquiao, ano ginagawa ng fans? They stand up, they go home, and that's it.
Relax.
Yeah, relax, whatever it is,
Punta sa
talk about the fight.
restaurant. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, or whatever it is, right? Kami, bro, we stay. All right. Once the arena is empty, we're there. Right?
grabe, ano?
We're going to write not just one story, the whole event, whatever it is that we have to cover. So once the arena is empty, we're still there, sitting on the media sa media row. And hindi lang yon. Nagsusulat kami, we go to press conferences, and then we do interviews. We go back to our hotel. Right? So ang tanong dito, nakakapagod ba? Oo naman bro, isipin mo ako lagi ako nagko-cover it. Usually, coverage namin abroad usually falls on a Friday, right? So, magsisimula yan, 4 or 5, will be, people will drive us to the venue na, right? We'll cover the entire event. And after that event, during that event, sulat. After that event, we'll attend press conference. Ako, what I do, I always make it a point to go an extra mile, lalo na yung sa mga fighters na mga kaibigan naman natin. I go to their hotel rooms and I try to get an exclusive interview. Makipagkwentuhan sila. Win or lose yun, brother. Win or lose. I always pay them a visit. And mga kaibigan natin yan. So, I get exclusive interviews. So, sometimes, nagawa ko, hindi na ako sumasama doon sa mga press conference. Binibigay ko na sa kanila yon sa mga ibang reporter. Because I know, after that, I will get to have an interview of my own naman. So, I go to the hotel room, kwentuhan. It will run until midnight. Kasi yung event matatapos na yung gabi na eh. Akala mo ganun lang, 5, 6. Sometimes it's at around 11, 12. Right? And then you write, you attend press conferences, you do your interviews, you catch up and makipagkwentuhan ka. Sometimes it ends around 3, 4 a.m. Right? Hindi pa tapos. Isusulat mo pa yung interview mo eh.
Hindi lang sulat, i-edit mo pa. Kailangan tama.
Yun nga. Hindi lang basta sulat, ita-transcribe mo pa. So once I'm back in the hotel, all right, I'm gonna open my laptop. Put my earphones, papakinggan ko yung interview, ita-transcribe ko yun word for word as much as possible kasi I do it verbatim eh. Okay?
Mahirap talaga pala. No?
So ita-transcribe ko, anong oras na matatapos? 6, 5, kuswertihin ako. So laspag ka na nun. By then, laspag ka na nun. Minsan, kapag nasa abroad kami, we don't have control over the time of our flights home. Okay? So minsan, ang flight namin, alas 8, alas 9. So, hindi ka na matutulog. So, diretso na yun. After that, mag-i-impake ka or whatever kung hindi mo pa nagawa yun. So, nakakapagod din. But, at the end of it all, it's very much worth it. Pero kung sa pagod at pagod lang, nakakapagod. Kasi,
pagod nga talaga.
Yeah. Ako kasi, meron akong problema. When I travel, I never get to sleep sa
plane.
Yeah.
Pareho ka ng kaibigan ko.
Yeah. I mean,
may mga ganun tao talaga.
For some reason, I have friends na pag upo, hindi pa nagtitake off, humihilik na eh. Diba? But ako, it's going to take me kailangan I should be awake for long periods of time na sobrang pagod ako para makatulog ako sa flight. And even then, I can't sleep through an entire flight. Hindi pa ako nakatulog ng, alam mo yung Singapore, tapos nagising ako, nasa Pilipinas na. Kasi may mga ganun eh, diba? Na never nangyari yun. Makakatulog ako 1-2 oras ago, but never yung tapos na yung kalbaryo. That's my kasi. Ayun yung pinakamahirap na part ng traveling for me eh, yung the time you spend in flight. So, lagi kong binibiro yung mga
parusa yung flight. Kahit ako, lalo kung walang TV, walang in-flight entertainment, parusa yun. Kahit sabi mo 4 hours lang, tapos Cebu Pacific.
Yeah. So, ako nga, lagi ko binibiro. Singapore lang ako pupunta eh. Gusto ko nang tumalon minsan eh. Pupunta pa ako States. It's gonna be 12 hours. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. So,
pero kung may in-flight entertainment naman, okay lang yun. Kahit
yeah, if we get booked in, sometimes we get booked in the top of the line din. Singapore Airlines, sometimes we get that. Yung, yung movie ng Queen,
yung Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. Yung Bohemian Rhapsody. Napanood ko yun sa Singapore Airlines na eh. I didn't see it in the cinema na miss ko. Tapos, on one of my flights going to Singapore, naka-upload na bro yung Bohemian Rhapsody dun sa kanila. Okay, doon ka na pa. You know, yung mga ganun, okay lang. I got something to do. But yeah, but it's really a struggle. So ganun, pagod ako. Nangyayari naman in those instances na pagod ako, nakakatulog ako an hour or two sa ano. Kasi wala minsan wala akong magagawa Parang ang pinakamaaga na flight ko na nakuha going back home parang 6 or 7. Sipin mo naman wala nang tulugan 'yun, 'di ba? And
Grabe, ano?
it's not like namamasyal lang naman kami before the event. 'Di ba may mga press conferences, may interviews, kasi like I said, it's my priority there of course is to perform my role, okay? I'm there for the job. But I get to, travel on the side. So, it could be tiring too. It could be really tiring actually.
Nakita ko nga kasi before may ABL, sa Bangkok pa ako naka-based. So lagi ako nanonood ng mga live basketball games naman. Nakita ko yung mga, may kaibigan din kasi akong media, photographers, tsaka yung mga nagsusulat. Nakita ko may laptop sila habang naglalaro. Yung laptop nila, sinusulat nila. Sabi ko, wow, parang ako na-enjoy ako sa laro kasi gusto ko yung basketball. Tapos sila parang, hindi mo ma-enjoy yun kasi ina-analyze mo lagi, type ka ng type. Tapos pagbalik mo sa hotel, yung mga photographer, ganun din. Minsan nakasabay ko sila sa aeroplano kasi may laban sa Malaysia. Nakasabay ko yung team. Yung photographer nila, nakita ko sa aeroplano, nag-edit naman ng pictures. Ako nanonood ng clouds. Siya nag-edit siya ng pictures siya kasi mamaya dapat nasa website na to. Mga ganun ba? So, pagod din.
That's the thing. That's the thing about being a reporter. You try to break the news as early as you can. Paunahan yan. Right? Di naman sikreto yan. So, as early as you can finish your story, as long as as soon as you can get it out there, it's good. Sa umpisa, sobrang hirap. Before I used to write football for a Rappler. Ang gusto ng football, 5 minutes after the game, ready na yung story ako. Right?
Actually, gano'n kaming mga ano yung tawag dito, mga consumer bang tawag doon, yung kaming nagko-consume ng mga news. Minsan may laro gusto kong makita ng article kahit napanood ko na, gusto kong mabasa yung analysis naman ng mga experts. So, minsan pag wala pa sa internet, ano ba to? Ang bagal naman ng mga to. Ano ba to? Parang pag ganun ako, which is hindi ko alam na.
True. See, it's coming from you. That's why the media does it. We want to get the news out there as soon as we can. So in my case, kakataas lang ng laban. So umpisa, nung una, nag-struggle talaga ako kasi ano ba naman to? Siya di ba? Ina-announce pa lang yung winner, gusto meron ng but that's the job and you get used to it. And it doesn't really bother me much anymore. So after the fight, during the fight, sinusulat ko na yan and konting edits and so it's something that you get used to.
Before nung hindi pa ako na-expose sa ABL, na hindi ko pa nakating lifestyle ng mga reporters or even business trips kasi hindi naman ako nag-business trips. Pag nag-hotel ako before nung bata-bata ako, nagtataka talaga ako lagi na bakit may dedicated desk dito sa room na parang hindi ko maintindihan yun noon, lalo pa minsan nag 5-star ako once in a while or 4-star. Laging may desk na hindi lang desk talaga, may ballpen diyan, may notepad diyan. Sabi ko, bakit may dedicated workstation dito? Hindi ko magets. Pero nung nakasama na ako sa ABL before, nag-gets ko na importante pala yun. Kasi noon pinasulat din ako sa website nila, isang article lang naman yun. So, nagamit ko yung mismong desk na yun. Sabi ko, ito pala talaga yung talagang gamit na gamit pala itong mga to sa room.
Yeah. And then once your story is out there, makita mo, pagbabashin minsan ng but it's part of the game, nakakatawa na nga lang. But a lot of work goes into that, that's what people don't see, that's what they don't know. Akala nila, nanonood lang kami ng laban, akala nila nagta-travel lang kami, akala nila tumotropa lang kami kung kasinong atleta. But a lot of work goes into it. And, to be honest with you, Regine, it's not like you will get to do these things. Honestly, if you're a shit writer, if you're a nobody, diba? Because organizers won't fly you out if nobody knows you. If you do not have a legitimate media or news organization that you're part of, right? Kasi kung ganun lang, kung sino-sino na lang pala-paliparin natin.
Oo.
Diba? So it takes a lot of work. For you to actually be in that position, it takes years of work already. Alright? It takes a lot of dedication. And that's what people don't know. That's what they don't understand. Nakala nila.
Hindi yan nare-realize. Lalo yung mga bashers, parang, papasarap ka lang dyan sa Amerika. Bina-vlog mo lang yung mga boxers dyan. Mga ganun, mga
they don't realize, they don't know going on behind the scenes and how much work it takes to be in that position. So once you're there, kailangan mo alagaan and, make the most out of it.
Ito bro, dalawang tanong na lang.
Mhm.
Paano ka naman nasimula sa boxing? Paano ka nahilig dyan?
Okay, so balik tayo sa boxing. Sobrang hilig ko. I mean, look, sobrang hilig ko talaga. Bata pa ako, mahilig na ako sa boxing. Okay, I grew up watching the likes of Tito Trinidad, Luisito Espinosa, of course Mike Tyson.
Jerry Peñalosa.
Yeah, Jerry
90s yun eh.
Peñalosa, IBC 13 pa, 'di ba? Si Jerry,
Uh,
mga laban niya, it's not even ABS or no, IBC 13 pa.
IBC 13, PTV4, Blow by Blow.
Yeah, yung mga ganun pa, I grew up watching that. Let's just put it this way, hindi pa ako marunong magbasa, nanonood ako ng boxing. Okay? So that's how far I am into, into the sport, at least as an observer. Okay? Other than that, there are two other things that I like doing when I was younger. Actually, I still like doing to this day. The other is video gaming. I really like video games. To this day, naglalaro ako.
Anong laro mo nung bata ka? Anong console mo? Family computer.
Family computer. Diba? Titong-tito na.
Grabe. Sarap nun eh, no?
Yeah. So, mga Contra, mga Mario. So, nagkataon, parents ko mahilig din eh. So, dad ko naglalaro din. Sister ko, mom ko naglalaro din. So, updated ako lagi sa console. And right now, I have itong gamit ko for work, ano na rin to, gaming PC na rin to. And the other thing that I like doing when I was younger, and kaya ko pa rin gawin ngayon, pero hindi ko na ganong ginagawa, is magic. Okay, card tricks. Yeah, yung nakita mo yung the likes of David Blink ginagawa sa cards. Believe it or not, I can do that. So, when I first showed it to my wife na medyo nagulat din siya, but that's one of the things that I like. But my magic medyo hindi ko na ginagawa, hindi na ako nag-aaral, but those are the three things that I like doing. Now the problem was in boxing was I did not really know how to get into it. I did not know how to be part of this sport. I did not know that I could just go to a gym and train. Okay? So I did not so nood lang ako nanood all this time. And hindi lang pa sa nanood, nagbabasa ako ng libro, nagbabasa ako ng online. I studied, boxers like early days, 1920s and up, not just Philippine boxing history, but, other countries as well. Right? So I didn't have a chance to be part of the sport until I was in my 20s, or try myself in boxing until I was 20s, when I was already working and making money for myself. That's the only time that I was able to go to a boxing gym, buy gears and train myself. So now I actually competed in the amateurs, several times. But the thing is, bro, if you are a man that is true to your standards, okay, the standards that I apply for other things in life, other things for athletes, I also apply for myself. Okay. And I can honestly say at that point, it was too late. There's no way that I'm going to be a world champion. Okay. I came to that realization. Or maybe I can, but the thing is this. Hindi ko ma-achieve yung level na gusto ko ma-achieve. Alright? I cannot hold myself to my own standards. Okay? But in my head, sabi ko sa sarili ko, I want to be part of the sport. I want to be part of this, and this is what I've wanted all my life. So ang nakita kong entry, brother, is to become a writer. So nung mentor ko, before I approach him, sabi ko, baka pwede mong turuan. He writes for The Ring magazine. Turuturuan mo ako, ganyan, how you do this. So I wrote my first article in 2009. I did not write a single article again until 2011. Yung mga sites na pinagsusulatan ko noon, actually mga big sites na. The likes of Boxing Scene, Fight Hype. The thing was, it was not my job and I did not get paid a single penny for whatever article was it that I actually wrote. Okay. I kept doing that. I had full-time job, call center agent ako before eh. So I kept doing that. Minsan mag-absent ako, minsan magli-leave pa ako just to pursue my writing, even though hindi na ako kikita doon at I'll end up losing money doon sa real job ko, no? But I had to pursue it. So in my 9 years sa call center, 7 years kasi doon, graveyard ako. Okay, so I really hated to be back to the graveyard shift, no? So day shift na ako and all that, but I had to leave my job. And ang nangyari, nabalik ako sa night shift. That's why in 2014, January, I told to myself, nung bumalik ako night shift November 2013. Okay, January 2014, I told myself that there's no way I'm taking this. I'm allowing myself na mag-work pa ako sa night shift ulit. Okay, nagsusulat na ako. I've been doing this for some time. I'll take a shot. I'll risk it. I'll risk pursuing a career in journalism. So a month after, naging part ako ng sa Rappler. I wrote for Rappler a month later. February. 2 months later, I was given a break by GMA. So nagkaroon ako ng TV debut ko for the Pacquiao Bradley 2 fight. And then a month later, ayun, May of 2014, ever since that day, I've been their resident combat sports reporter. And I've been, it all started with boxing, and then eventually, nag-cover din ako triathlon, nag-cover din ako ng MMA, nag-cover ako ng football. But it all started with boxing.
Grabe yung sinunod mo talaga yung passion mo. Tapos, even though yung day job mo, you use it to fund your passion. Kasi parang ganun din yung sinasabi ng ibang experts sa, sa finances and life in general na you should have a side hustle, sabi nila. Tapos, your day job should fund your side hustle or your passion or whatever that is, hobby. And then eventually, it can, hindi mo talaga asahan yun, pero kung talagang very passionate ka, consistent ka, eventually it will become your source of income, which is nangyari sa iyo, di ba?
Yeah. And it was hard, bro. It was really hard. It was not an easy thing to do kasi I was struggling. I was broke. I did not have savings. And the fact that I would be absent sa full-time job ko just so that I can go to this place, watch boxing, right, and cover for not a single cent, right? People would actually say, I'm fucking stupid. What are you doing? Right?
Lalo sa mentality dito sa society natin.
But I'm, I stuck to it, gave it a shot, and, it worked out naman. I mean, to be honest, malayo pa ako, bro. Malayo pa ako. Marami pa akong matututunan. Marami pa akong kailangan matutunan. Marami pa akong kailangan aralin. But so far, I'm just glad that it worked out.
Oh, so how do you feel you're regularly talking to these boxing greats, even just online,
Well, now just online kasi andito lang,
by pandemic.
Yeah.
Pero before, may picture pa nga kayo ni Rose, nakita ko.
Yeah. How do I feel about it? Honestly, bro, at first you might be overwhelmed. Kasi mga malalaking tao di ba? But as soon as you get used to it di ba?
Oo. Pero sa una, syempre, maano ka, no?
Yeah, sa una, syempre, kumbaga, mga tangang tinitingala, mga mayayaman, mga kilala, kahit sa, I have friends like that sa industry na pagkasama ko, ano ba ito, hindi man lang kami makapaglakad ng 10 hakbang nang walang nagpapapicture, di ba? So you have friends like that. Sa umpisa, it can be overwhelming for you, but kasi, yun nga di ba? Mabibigat na tayo ang kilala mo, but eventually you get used to it, and at times parang wala na lang yun. Hindi naman sa wala na yun, of course you value your friendship, but alam mo yun, guess mo yung parang hindi na parang nag-i-stick sa'yo na okay, sobrang big deal nung kasama mo pala na tao. That's why nung hindi ko na pabanggitin yung mention ng company ko where there was a time do sa company, so I have full-time job, right? I have this full-time job sa call center. And I attended this one event na si Manny Pacquiao andon, and he was eating lunch, and I approached him sa table, I talked to him, shook his hand. But okay, so Manny Pacquiao yon, right? And then alam nung work ko na ayun ang ginagawa ko. They saw the pictures nagpaalam ako, nagdebata ako noon for and then meron kasing boss sa amin na parang sobrang ewan ko ba, sobrang parang entitled or laki ng ulo or sobrang taas ng tingin sa sarili na nagpa-contest doon. nagpa-contest doon sa office na parang stats or something, and they were bragging na parang, oh, you win this and you get to have lunch with OM, ganyan, operations manager. Mind you, operations manager, hindi man lang ano yun, it's not even the highest position, no? Doon sa department nyo, pero may boss and boss pa siya. And I was like, the back of my head, actually not just the back of my head, I actually told their supervisor, I mean, honestly, wala na ba kayo ibang maibebenta? Kasi, just 2 nights ago, I was, on the same table with Manny Pacquiao, and are you telling me that having lunch with your boss is supposed to be a privilege? 'Di ba? Now, hindi sa mayabang ako na naano ko 'yon, but it also gives you how it also levels you yung sa how you see things, no, na parang yung ibang tao minamaliit 'to, yung ibang tao masyadong mataas dito, pine-patronize na. It also, I think, at least to me, I'm not saying that, the other reports like this, at least to me, na it gives you a sense of, or it gives you a sort of mindset na pantay-pantay lang naman tayo eh. Don't make me feel like it's a privilege to eat lunch with your boss that nobody even knows about, nobody gives a shit about outside of this, small office. When, 2 nights ago, I was out there speaking with Manny Pacquiao na walang ka-ere-ere sa katawan. Gets mo, bro? So, yung mga ganung bagay lang na parang natutunan ko. Again, some people would say na, nyabang ko naman. Or no, I'm just saying lang po na ako, no matter who you are, whatever your job is, if you're down to earth, I just feel like we're all equal eh. We're all equal. And yung mga ganung bagay, it somehow parang, it takes me off. But why it's supposed to be like a privilege to eat lunch with this guy when, not too long ago, that I was with this guy na bilyonaryo and sobrang popular all over the world. And, gets mo yung point ko, bro. Right? So, it levels you, it humbles you is what I'm saying then.
Totoo.
That when you actually go out na parang masyadong malalaki yung ulo na tao na parang, ano ba itong mga to? Parang, who do you think you are? Diba? Parang, can't we just have lunch and don't make it seem like na parang you're doing us a favor having lunch with us, because we can have this lunch without you. With or without you, we'll have have this lunch. Right? Kasi sa media, marami kang makikitang ganyan na sobrang down-to-earth na tao na ano. So, yung mga makikilala mo sila behind the scenes, off-cam, who they really are. And it really humbles you, to see who they really are and what they really do, off-camera. I'm not saying na lahat okay ang daming asshole, pare. Magugulat ka, daming tarantado. But, mas marami mo bait and sobrang nakaka-humble, pare. Sobrang nakaka-humble.
Grabe nga, especially sa panahon ngayon na meron ng internet. Si Jerry Peñalosa before, naalala ko nung bata. Siya kasi yung favorite boxer ko sa Philippines dahil sa talent niya. Tapos, 2 months ago, na-interview ko siya dito sa podcast, si Jerry. So, parang di makapaniwala nung una na ito na ba yung Jerry Peñalosa na pinapanood ko lang sa TV before na yan. Nakakausap ko na dito sa Zoom.
Yeah,
Grabe,
Jerry Peñalosa is a good friend. We're business partners. I'm not sure if you know, but
sa Jerry Peñalosa gym, di ba?
yeah. Sa BF branch, Jerry Peñalosa Boxing Gym, I used to co-own that branch. Jerry's a good, he's a good guy, very humble. He's one of those guys that when we're with him, people would greet him, ask for pictures. He's one of those na sinasabi ko sa kanya, because up to this day, people know him, people acknowledge his achievements and his contribution to the sport of boxing dito sa Pilipinas.
So sa'yo bro, ito yung mga, gusto ko lang malaman yung mga pinakamagagaling mo, no? Pinakamagagaling mo. So for you, sa let's say Philippine boxing, who's your top 3 all time?
Alam naman natin kung sino na eh.
Diba? Siyempre number 1, this is quite obvious, pero yung dalawa, sino yun?
Okay, number 2 ko, I would say, I would give it to Nonito Donaire.
Okay.
Kasi this is very subjective
Oo,
ang hirap kasi nito gawin ngayon, bro eh. Ang hirap eh. Kasi, look, Casimero is only 32, marami pa tatakboy si Casimero. Donaire, I could already put on my number 2 kasi he's towards the end of his career.
Towards the end.
Yeah. So, maybe he has 1, 2, 3 more fights in him. So, I don't know. Boxer lang pinag-uusapan natin, di ba?
Boxer lang, boxer lang. Hindi kasama
Okay.
yung MMA.
No, okay. I would say Pancho Villa. Pancho
Mm.
Villa. A lot of people rate Flash Elorde above Pancho Villa, but personally, I would rate Francis Gallardo over Flash Elorde. Because again, boxing is just very subjective. I just feel like sobrang yung story ng Pancho Villa, sobrang yung full potential niya hindi na-tap. And the fact that he became the first Filipino world champion after defeating a power puncher in Jimmy Wild, a Hall of Famer too. That's just so huge for the Philippine boxing. He paved the way for all of these names to be here.
So, sino yun? Pacquiao, Panchovilla, tsaka si Donaire. Tama ba? O Pacquiao,
Pacquiao.
Donaire,
Yeah, yeah,
Panchovilla. Okay,
yeah.
good, good. Ako naman, syempre, based lang sa napanood ko, hindi ko na napanood sila Panchovilla, sila Elore, hindi ko na napanood. Although, I've read they're great, pero based lang talaga sa mga panood ko, my top 3 would be, yeah, of course, Pacquiao would be number 1. Pero actually, before, hindi ko number 1 si Pacquiao. Naging number 1 ko lang si Pacquiao after ng Morales Morales 2. Prior
Okay.
to Morales 2, hindi ako masyadong believe sa kanya. Let's say Morales 1 pa ganito, 'di ba? Kasi parang ano siya malakas siya, mabilis, pero yung technically speaking tsaka defense parang hindi nakukulangan ako before. Pero after Morales 2, yun na. Talagang parang no debate na Pacquiao number 1. Ang number 1 ko nun si Jerry. Before Pacquiao Morales 2, si Jerry kasi
Oh, yeah.
I grew up watching Jerry in the 90s tsaka si Luisito Espinosa, pero for me mas magaling si Jerry based lang sa talent. Tapos ang na-feel ko kay Jerry kasi hindi siya nabigyan ng magandang break. Siguro
The thing,
sa promoter siguro or something. Siguro noon hindi pa sikat yung boxing sa Philippines. 'Di ba parang puro Japan lang tayo noon eh. Yun ang
yeah, the
feeling
thing,
ko.
yeah, the thing about boxing, bro, is you just can't rate fighters based on their skills alone. Kasi kung ganun lang pala, di ba, we can actually say that maybe Floyd Mayweather is indeed the greatest of all time and maybe followed by Vasily Lomachenko, di ba? You also, maraming dynamics eh. You also have to, take a look at the resume, sino ba tinalo nila, when it happened, how did it happen, maraming sobrang dynamics. Like, honestly, kulang ang isang buong araw natin magkaganto kung itatouch natin lahat. So it's not just skills alone, but ako personally, my top 5 Filipino boxers, kasama din si Jerry. Kasama din si Jerry doon para sa akin.
Mm. Mm. O yun nga, ako kasi parang nagbase lang ako sa skills. Parang si Jerry number 1 could be for sa skill. Tapos yun nga, maraming what ifs eh. Parang what if na naharap siya kay Rafael Marquez, what if na naharap siya kay Vasquez. Although hindi naman natin masasabi, pero sa mga what if lang, madaming gano'n na, kaya parang hindi mo masasabi na, ay, wala naman siya nakalaban na magaling kasi hindi niya naharap. Parang gano'n.
Kung,
So,
yeah, kung boxing skills, bro, panoorin mo si Flash Elorde. Magaling si Flash Elorde.
hindi ko pa napanood. Hindi ko
Yeah, you
napanood
should
yun eh.
watch Flash Elorde. He's really good. A southpaw, like really good on his feet, fast hands, not much power, but counter punching,
Hmm.
technique, movement, ang galing, magaling si
Marami
Flash
nagsasabi nga
Elorde.
din. Actually, before nga kay Pacquiao noon na sumikat siya, parang siya considered number 1 sa Pilipinas, di ba? Si Flash Elorde. Si Jerry kasi, nakita ko talaga yung sasabi mong sweet science sa kanya because despite of his size, he can go against these big fighters like Ponce de Leon, yung mga
Mm.
ganun. Yun nga, yung sila Gonzales. So, number 2 ko siya. Siyempre number 3 si Donaire. Pero now, I recognize naman na in terms of accomplishment, marami na-accomplish si Donaire. Pero, naisip ko rin kasi na, ang dami niya kasing opportunity kasi naka-base siya sa US, ang galing ng mga promoters niya, so madami siya naging opportunity. So, feeling ko, pagka si Jerry nabigyan ng mga breaks na ganun, baka nagawa niya rin yun. Kaya, number 2 ko siya. Tapos si Donaire. Top 3 ko yun.
Mm-hmm. Sounds
Sa,
fair.
sa international, sinong ano mo? Sinong top 3 mo? Present
Well,
lang yung active lang muna, let's say top 2 lang tayo sa international, active.
active fighter. Well, agree ako sa listahan ng daring. I would say it's Canelo
Canelo,
Alvarez. Yeah. And
Canelo.
number 2 siguro, perhaps Lomachenko. Yeah, Lomachenko has to be my number 2. Even though nakakatalo niya lang, di ba?
Kay Teofimo
Eh,
Lopez.
yeah, kay Teofimo Lopez, wrong game plan. But, I thought like it was a fight that he could have won. But yeah, maybe Vasily Lomachenko. If not, Naoya Inoue.
Yeah.
if not
Ako,
number one.
ako nagulat lang talaga ako sa evolution o transformation ni Canelo. Kasi hindi ko nasubaybayan yung boxing scene ng matagal. Last na nakita kong fight niya kay Mayweather pa. Hindi siya,
Mm.
hindi pa siya ganun kagaling nun eh. Kung mapapansin mo si Canelo Alvarez. Tapos ngayon lately,
Yeah, hindi pa siya
pinapanood ko yung
kompleto.
mga,
Yeah.
oh hindi pa siya kompleto nun. Ngayon nakita ko yung mga highlights siya, grabe yung depensa niya ngayon, no?
Yeah.
Parang naging complete fighter siya. So, for me, it would be Canelo.
He's probably the most well-rounded boxer today, si Canelo Alvarez.
Oo, grabe. Pero hindi, yun nga, nagtaka ko, hindi kasi siya ganun dati nung kinalaban niya si Floyd. Oo, kaya nga sabi ang criticism nga kay Floyd kinalaban niya mga best, si Canelo, too early. Si Pacquiao naman, too late.
Too late.
So yeah, Canelo. And for me, my number 2 would be Inoue. Naoya Inoue.
Yeah,
Although,
that's the ring list actually. So I have
hindi ko
no
nakita yung
problem.
ring list Pero
Yeah,
number 2 pala siya.
number one into sila, Canelo and then Inoue.
Hindi ko nakita. Pero nakita ko sa yung laban ni Lomachenko kay Rigondeaux. Grabe, ang galing ni Lomachenko doon. Grabe talaga. How about all time, bro?
My all-time list, kakatanong lang din sa akin to nung not too long ago sa isang podcast. I would give it to, again, this is just my list. Sugar Ray Leonard, Henry Armstrong, Muhammad Ali, Willie Pep, and Sam Langford.
Okay. Sa akin, ang all-time ko would be number 1 ko si Floyd Mayweather. Because of
Really
skill.
now?
Number 1 ko talaga
Well,
siya. Kasi,
yeah, again, you're just looking at skill nga pala.
I look at skill and nasubaybayan ko kasi yung career niya even before na sumikat siya sa Philippines. Kasi before, hindi naman siya sikat dito kasi iba yung weight niya kay Pacquiao. Even before. Iba yung style niya before before na-hurt yung knuckles niya, umaatake din siya nung mga bata-bata siya. Tapos ngayon, talagang hanga ako sa depensa niya, sa dulas niya. Tapos hindi naman siya tumatakbo na parang ginawa ni Rigondeaux. May nagka-counter, nag-iiwan pa isa-isa. So, number 1 ko siya. Tsaka based sa record niya. Siyempre, number 2 ko, I have to say, Muhammad Ali. Tapos, sa na-accomplish Manny Pacquiao. Siguro yung top 3 ko. International.
Again, it's subjective. So, I can say you're wrong. I can say you're right. But, it's something that we can argue about. But, yeah, that's, yun naman ang boxing, very subjective.
Mm-hmm. Ito na lang, last question sa'yo as a boxing analyst. Anong nagawa nating tama this time at nagkaroon tayo ng madaming medal sa Olympics? Kasi for the longest time, laging ganyan, gusto natin magka-medal, training. Naalala ko, Haritanyamor, Beijing, wala talaga. Greece, wala talaga. Tapos suddenly, biglang 4. Anong nagawa natin tama?
I would have to say that, for what I know, the funding now is better and they also employed a foreign coach.
Cuban ba?
So, yeah. I'm not sure kung sino yung coach na. Last I heard, Australian ba? I can be wrong. But for what I know, the funding is better now. So the training is better. And that means, if they hire the foreign coach, everything's better altogether.
Foreign coach.
I wasn't there to witness it, for myself, what and how they do, how they did it sa training. So it's going to be very hard for me, to say what we did right. But one thing I know is this. We've always been a country of fighters, okay? If there is a sport in the Olympics na makakagold tayo, I always felt like it's going to be boxing. Even though na, obviously, mali na ako dun, diba? Kinuha na ni Heidelin. But yung chances of us bagging, gold medals, many Olympic medals, I always felt that it's gonna be boxing. Akala ko panalo si Nesty Petesio Yung laban ni Carlo Paalam, I thought he won, but it was a close fight. I'm not saying that he was robbed, but yung Nesty Petesio, I felt like he was screwed in Japan against the
Japanese
hometown fighter. Yeah. Yumir Marshall, I never predicted him to grab gold, but he's a gold medal. A bronze medal, so that's good. But whatever we did right sa training or I can't tell that for sure.
Yeah, but I think like what you've said, malaking bagay talaga yung funding. It was better this time. Tsaka yung nabanggit mo na yung Cuba, yung foreign coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yung laban ni Carlo Paalam, nagtaka lang ako kasi ang galing ni Carlo, yung paa niya mabilis, magaling sumayaw sa ring, mabilis yung kamay. Yung kalaban niya magaling sa infighting talaga yun yung Briton. Pero nung naglaban sila, naging infighting yung game niya. Hindi ko maintindihan. Ba't nagganon siya ng style sa infighter na kalaban?
Well, nung second round yung sinasabi mo, yung Carlo
Oo,
Paalam eh.
oo,
Yeah, because
second.
he had to adjust. He had to adjust the second round.
But why
He
not
had
just
to,
run and just mag-iwan, takbo-takbo
eh,
sayaw?
well, he tried that in the first round. He got dropped.
Kaya okay. So
Di ba?
talagang, I see, okay. Got it.
So I think that the second round, that's the thing. Doon nagkatalo eh. A lot of people thought that the second round was the closest eh. I thought he won that round and definitely he won the third. First round he went to Yafai. So, second round talaga nagkatalo. Even though he went, he fought on the inside. I felt like he won that. It somehow effective sa kanya. But
Okay.
yeah, it is what it is. It was close.
Okay. Good. Wow, ang dami natin na pag-usapan. Ang ganda ng kwentuhan. Parang Joe Rogan experience. Umabot ng 2 oras. Si mga podcast si Joe Rogan, umabot ng 2 hours. Bro, maraming salamat talaga sa
Sure.
pag-unlock ng aking dito sa podcast. And before we end, any final message sa mga listeners or shout outs or if anything you wanna plug?
Yeah, just keep listening to the show. I mean, if you like travel talks, I enjoy doing this because I've never had the chance to talk about my travels as much as this though. So thank you for that, and you can find me on my YouTube or Instagram, Siasat. Yun lang, bro.
Okay, thank you. And before we end this podcast episode, I'm gonna leave you with this travel quote. The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. From Saint Augustine. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been your host, Regine Reino. Till the next episode.